Welcome to the Irvington Public Schools Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying Policy and Procedure Training. My name is Mrs. Megan O'Brien. I'm the Supervisor of Guidance and Anti-Bullying Coordinator. This training is mandatory for all faculty, staff, administrators, substitutes, vendors, and volunteers in order to assure all Irvington scholars a safe environment. Everyone in the Irvington family has a responsibility to know and understand their role in this important process. In addition to finding this training video on our district website, you'll also be able to find a copy of the PowerPoint to utilize as a resource. Let's start by defining harassment, intimidation, and bullying, otherwise known as HIB.
Harassment, intimidation, or bullying means any gesture, any written, verbal, or physical act, or any electronic communication, whether it be a single incident or a series of incidents that is reasonably perceived as being motivated by either an actual or perceived characteristic, takes place on or off school grounds. A reasonable person should know that the act will have a significant effect, has the effect of insulting or demeaning any student or group of students, creates a hostile education environment for the pupil by interfering with a pupil's education. The definition of HIB has expanded. A single incident can be construed as HIB. Behavior off school grounds is also included. Multiple staff members have been assigned roles within the district and each school. There is the district anti-bullying coordinator, school-specific anti-bullying specialist, and the members of the school safety climate team. When reporting, it is important to use the word bully cautiously. No one should be labeled prior to a full and complete investigation. Focus on the observed facts of the situation, such as, I saw him or her push the child. Remember to let the investigation reveal the scope of what happened and whether the perceived aggressor committed a harassing, intimidating, or bullying act. Falsely labeling a child can be, in some cases, harassing, intimidating, or bullying behavior. Avoid labels throughout the process. Ms. Carson, one of our district anti-bullying specialists, will review the investigation process defined.
The principal or designee receives the HIB incident report and confers with the anti-bullying specialist as to whether the reported incident is an act of HIB to be investigated. The principal or designee also calls parents to inform of the alleged HIB incident the same day of the incident. The anti-bullying specialist then begins the investigation within 2 days of the incident report. If the HIB is substantiated, the victim and the offender will be referred to a health and social services coordinator within 48 hours. The offender will receive appropriate disciplinary action. The anti-bullying specialist will interview all parties involved, including witnesses, and meet with the alleged victim and aggressor separately. The specialist will also provide support to the alleged victim, carefully examine the facts, make a determination if the incident is HIB, and notify the principal of the results of the investigation using the district form. The anti-bullying specialist will maintain confidential documentation of all witness statements, offender statements, victim statements, and all supporting documentation in a locked file cabinet. The specialist will also notify the principal or designee when the investigation has concluded in order to contact the parents of the alleged victim and the aggressor. No details regarding names should be provided. The investigation must be completed within 10 school days of receiving the referral. The building principal, as the person primarily charged with maintaining the safety of his or her school, may respond to the alleged acts of HIB in accordance with the District Student Code of Conduct, offering remediation or disciplinary consequences prior to the completion of the HIB investigation. The principal reviews and signs the completed investigation form, also determines discipline or remedial action. as well as forwarding the district forms and supporting documentation to the district anti-bullying coordinator for their review and signature. The anti-bullying coordinator will provide a monthly report including all investigations to the superintendent. The superintendent reviews the anti-bullying coordinator's monthly report, including each investigation, and reports the results to the Board of Education at the next meeting. The superintendent also provides a written report to the parents of the parties involved within 5 school days after the investigation results are presented to and approved by the Board of Education.
Data on reported incidents of HIB will be provided to the Board of Education and the community at a public hearing which will be held twice a year between September 1st and January 1st and between January 1st and June 30th. The superintendent will also report on all acts of violence and vandalism at these meetings. HIB information shall be reported via the New Jersey Department of Education School Safety Data System, or known as SSDS, once during each reporting period between September 1st and January 1st, and between January 1st and June 30th. Department of Education will issue HIB grades to each school and the district. An appeal request must occur no later than 60 calendar days after receiving written notice of the outcome of the investigation. All appeals must be directed to the Board of Education. It is everyone's duty to report the same day the concerning behavior is observed or the information is shared with you by the scholar. Do not place this information in an email or voicemail. It's important to report this directly to the principal or their designee. They will confer with the anti-bullying specialist to determine if a written referral should be made. You will not have to decide if it is HIB. That will be the duty of the anti-bullying specialist, but answering these questions will guide you throughout your work with our scholars regarding what should be reported. Understanding what can possibly be classified as harassing, intimidating, or bullying can guide us as we work to maintain safety in our schools. When watching the first scenario regarding Pablo, consider that the circumstances in which he is being targeted are not within his control. The second scenario involves 2 female scholars. While we set a strong model for behavior, we know that young people across the country do not always use kind and proper language with each other, but is it HIB? In the final scenario, we must consider whether this young man is being targeted due to a disability or personal characteristic, or is this just mean and insensitive behavior?
Meet Pablo. He recently moved from a foreign country. It's Pablo's first day of school. He's very excited about starting school in the United States. Maria, his mother, dropped him off. She was a little nervous, but she gave him a quick kiss and walked away. Pablo walked to class and sat down. A few of his new classmates began snickering. At lunchtime, Jessica and Johnny started making fun of his clothes. They focused on his shoes, which were worn, and said, "You're so poor, your parents are broke." Pablo became sad and told his mother that evening that he no longer wanted to come to school. The very next day, Miss Brown was on cafeteria duty. She witnessed Jessica and Johnny making fun of Pablo's clothing. Miss Brown went to the school counselor and reported the incident. The school counselor immediately began an investigation. Is this scenario considered a substantiated or an unsubstantiated harassment, intimidation, or bullying case? If you answered substantiated, you answered correctly. In this case, Pablo cannot control his economic situation. When the students focus on his clothes and call him poor, they have attacked a personal characteristic which is out of his control to change and meets the guidelines of what is considered harassment, intimidation, and bullying according to the New Jersey law. Meet Maria. She is a 6th grade student attending middle school. Maria posted a video of herself singing on social media. 4 of her classmates began posting mean comments on her video, making Maria feel scared and socially isolated. Maria was afraid of what people would say to her at school. She told her mother what happened, and Maria's mother accompanied her the next day to file a complaint. According to the mother, after posting the video, her daughter received multiple comments from a girl named Destiny, which quickly escalated to threats of physical harm. Mom filed a complaint with the principal. Maria was called down and informed that her mom was concerned about her usage of social media. Maria stated that she and Destiny were in class together and were previously friends. Maria reported that Destiny started calling her names, and she responded by calling Destiny and telling her to mind her business. She also threatened to punch her in the face for her post. In response, Destiny challenged her to a fight after school. Maria stated that she wasn't afraid. She promised not to hit Destiny, but would fight her back if she touched her. Maria also stated that her mother told her to delete the video and post. The principal called Destiny's parents to inform her that an HIB allegation was made and that the investigative process had begun. Is this situation considered a substantiated or unsubstantiated HIB case? If you answered unsubstantiated, you answered correctly. After speaking with Destiny, this incident was found to be a conflict and not an HIB incident because there were no motivating factors under the protected categories. The principal directed the school counselor to conduct a conflict resolution session and brought the two girls together to discuss the incident. The counselor spoke with the girls regarding online etiquette, respect, and discussed how situations such as this can easily escalate. The two students were able to verbalize and process their actions and apologized for their behaviors, comments made. They decided that they would remain friends. The principal called both parents and informed them of the outcome. Jacob is a 10th grade student with a 504 plan. Included in his plan are frequent bathroom breaks. One day, Jacob couldn't hold his bodily fluids and immediately rushed into the bathroom and entered a stall, but did not completely close the door. While relieving himself, he saw a flash of light, heard a click, and saw a couple of students he was familiar with running out of the restroom laughing. Jacob hung his head in shame, went back to class, and reported it to his science teacher. The next day before homeroom, he saw students pointing and laughing at him. Jacob's friend Ramon showed him a video that was posted on social media of him using the bathroom in the stall. Is this situation considered a substantiated or an unsubstantiated harassment, intimidation, or bullying case? In this particular scenario, based on the information gathered, it is unsubstantiated. There isn't enough information regarding the motive, specifically a distinguishing characteristic that resulted in Jacob becoming a target. Cases like this should then be classified as a disciplinary issue, and all students involved should complete a statement and receive appropriate consequences based on the student code of conduct. It could be that the students targeted him because he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not necessarily due to his condition that warranted a 504 plan.
Can Pablo control his economic circumstances? No, his poverty is out of his control. This case is considered HIB. While we never condone inappropriate language, when it is used, does that mean it is always HIB? This was a matter of friends losing their temper. This is not HIB. Was the young man targeted due to his 504 plan or personal characteristic? No. Based on the information, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Conflict is regularly mistaken as harassing, intimidating, and bullying. This is just one of the reasons it is important to not label a student. When we observe a situation and are concerned for a student's safety, we want to report the facts and avoid labels and names. Labels and names can make a challenging situation more challenging. In the example where the student posted on social media, once we understood everyone's involvement, it became clear that the scenario was conflict rather than HIB. Not every insensitive or unkind choice is harassment, intimidation, or bullying. Regardless, if it's mean, intervene. Be sure to provide the appropriate support and response for each and every student at the time of a potential incident. You will want to make sure to capture important teachable moments. There are a range of supports the principal and anti-bullying specialist have at their disposal to support each and every student involved. We have to educate students regarding the role of the bystander. Ask your students, as a bystander, did you attempt to stop the situation and get help, or did you support the situation, allowing a potential harassing, intimidating, or bullying behavior to continue? As a bystander, students can be implicated in a potential HIB by allowing it to occur or continue. Instead, we want students to be upstanders. We want students to stand up for what is right and support their fellow student in order to create a safe environment for everyone. If an aggressor retaliates or threatens the victim or witness, they can be subject to a higher level of consequence than was given for the original concern. Promoting a positive culture in our schools is everyone's responsibility, whether you are a volunteer, faculty, staff, substitute, parent, guardian, or scholar. We all play an important part in keeping our scholars safe. Viewing today's video is just the first step to assure everyone is doing their part. Remember, all faculty, staff, substitutes, volunteers, vendors have a responsibility to report potential concerns regarding HIB. You will find information regarding HIB in multiple locations. The website provides everyone access to the documents necessary to report concerns. If it's mean, intervene. If you see it or hear it, you must report it. Remember, family looks out for and cares for each other. Make sure we are all doing our part to keep our scholars safe.